The main reason why I don't want to be married anymore is because the way that I've been able to make my 17-year marriage work all of these years is by compromising myself, compromising what I think, compromising about what I value, compromise what I want, compromise the type of relationship that I want to have. Everything has been a compromise, but the compromise has been on my part, me adjusting, changing, doing things differently to please my partner or to make the family as a whole work. And I just know that it's just not the right thing to do anymore. But on the other hand, it's really scary thinking that I'm going to be 52 years old out there living by myself with my kids, trying to make it in this economy. I don't have an education. I never went to school. I didn't have a career or anything like that. There was no plan B. This was always the plan, be married, stay married, raise a family, and just stay together and make it work to the end. I'm taking a huge risk, and sometimes I question whether it's the right thing to do. But I know the reason why I'm questioning is that because I'm so used to compromising myself. I'm so used to putting myself last. I'm so used to just making myself disappear so I can be in these roles, wife, mother, whatever, and somehow hopefully make other people happy, and that'll be my life. But that's not the right way to live. I want to find a different way of living. And I have a lot of regret that I've waited so long and I'm doing it now at 52. I don't have youth. I don't have, all of the optimism. I don't have years and years in front of me. I don't really even have the time to kind of wait on it or waste. I mean, I don't have a ton of time. I mean, if I don't do it now, when will I ever do it? When will I ever be comfortable in my own skin? When will I ever feel proud and happy and like myself? When will I ever be in a situation like that again? Unless I go out there and try to take it for myself. It's pretty scary, but I have a feeling that it's going to be worth it.
You can see the tears in her eyes thinking about how much of her life she spent being in service to husband and children and not taking care of herself, not looking out for her needs, not looking out for things that make her truly feel fulfilled.
I'm sorry, I have to get something off my chest. So I can literally not post a video on TikTok or Instagram without somebody asking me, did me and med school break up? Did me and the flower boy break up? For those of you guys who are new here, I was basically dating a man for 2 years. Everybody called him med school because while we were dating, he got into med school. He's also called flower guy because I posted a video once about how he gets me flowers, and every flower bouquet that man has ever gotten me, I've saved all the petals with the dates on them so that the flower girls at our future wedding could walk down the aisle and throw them. Anyways, I have been avoiding answering this question because it's my personal life, but then I realized I came on the internet telling my personal life, so I gotta update y'all. And honestly, I was going through a lot and I just wasn't ready to talk about it, but now I am, and I have receipts. So first and foremost, the question everybody has been asking, are me and med school still dating? And sadly, the answer is no. I know y'all, it's sad, but I'm not even sad about it. I'm gonna give you the receipts and the whole backstory of why I'm not sad, why I'm good, and why me and him have no issues. So I know anytime people break up, y'all automatically assume somebody had to be cheating, and that is not the case in our situation. At least I do not think he was cheating on me. I never called him cheating on me, but that was not the reason for us breaking up. And no, nothing to do with cheating. I'm not gonna lie. I think starting in December, we officially started a break, and we had just gotten to a place where things weren't working. Like I was now living back at home. He started med school. We went to school together. So he's in med school at the school that I went to my undergrad and my nursing school, and I moved back home. So we were kind of long distance, but the drive was only like an hour and 30. It wasn't a problem. But the main reason we have broken up is because he was just literally a bad boyfriend. He didn't do anything cheating and he wasn't mean to me. He just was not emotionally a good boyfriend. Like he wasn't there for me emotionally. He didn't do the things a boyfriend would do. I kind of feel like he was just like a friend, like one of my homeboys, a guy friend. So one of the first things that happened that started making our relationship go downhill is this man literally forgot our 2 year anniversary and then started an argument with me. So basically on the day of our 2 year anniversary, which was August 7th, 2020, 2024, I was like in a mood because he didn't say anything to me. He didn't bring it up at all. And I'm the kind of girl, like, I knew he was in med school. I know he has a lot going on. So I never wanted too much from him. He didn't have to take me on a fancy date. He didn't have to take me to dinner. We didn't have to go on a trip. He did not have to do anything for me or for a 2 year anniversary. But it was the fact that he literally forgot to even acknowledge it or bring it up. And then when I was in a sad mood the whole day, he kind of like got upset at me until later on that night, he realized it was our 2 year anniversary. And then he was apologizing so much. I mean, for a guy to be dating me and you do not even have to get me a gift, take me out on a date, get me flowers. You don't even have to give me flowers because I know you're busy in school. But for you to not even remember our 2 year anniversary and then make it an argument, yeah, I wasn't having that. So that's when things started going downhill. The other reason why we started not getting along is because once he started med school, he totally changed into a completely different person. This was not the man that I fell in love with and I started dating. He started kind of being like mean. He was very inconsiderate. He would put his new med school friends over me. And the whole reason this really pissed me off is because I knew this man when he literally did not have a dime to his name, when all he told me was his dream was to go to med school. I was there for him through everything. And then as soon as he got into med school, he switched up on me. I mean, this man did not have like a car for 2 years. We were dating for 2 years and I had a car. Literally, the old car that I used to have before I drove my Audi, I let him drive my car and he literally crashed my car. He didn't even pay for it. I paid for it. My insurance paid for it. I didn't even make him pay for it because I was so in love with this man. He ended up getting a car once he got into med school. When I tell you that man did not drive his car not one time to come see me for the first 2 months that he had a car, he didn't have any exams. He wasn't too busy. He just did not come to see me. Now, I was driving you around for 2 years. You get your first car and you don't even want to come see me. Mind you, all the times that we would see each other, I was doing the long distance drives. I was driving to him. I was sacrificing my time. Now that he had the means to come see me, that was not a priority to him. I knew he was in school. I'm going to keep repeating this because I know a lot of people are going to come in the comments and say, oh, he was in med school, he was busy. No, he would be going out to the city with his friends. He would be in the bars. Mind you, I don't even know how med school people have time to be partying. This man parties more than I ever partied in nursing school. But he didn't have time to come see his 2 year girlfriend who been with him when he didn't have anything. Oh my.
Prime example of of a recurring theme in a lot of the stories that I've been hearing on social media. You stay with him when he had nothing, you built him up, you let him use your stuff, you treat him like a king, you see the potential in him, you ride or die for him. And then when he reaches where he wants in life, suddenly he is now too good for you. Suddenly he's looking down on you. Suddenly you're not up to his standard when you clearly were when he had nothing. I think that a man will appreciate you more when you allow him to find himself, to discover himself, and to build himself up. I'm not saying don't be supportive, but if you go out of your way to make him comfortable, you're stopping him from being who he truly needs to go and be on his own. She did all of this thinking that they were so in love and they were going to live happily ever after, and that surely when he was in a better position, he would treat her better. He would match her energy. But no, most likely he moved on. He found a girl, probably in med school as well, a girl that was more of his type, more of his standard, and then he's probably too coward or too embarrassed to actually break up with her. And so he comes up with this elaborate scheme to punish her and to emotionally drain her to the point where she's the one who initiates the breakup. Because a lot of men are cowards. Even if they want to leave, even if they found somebody else that they want to go and be with, they won't actually end the relationship because they want to be able to say that you left them. They want to be the victim. They want to talk about how good they were to you and they don't know what happened and all of a sudden you left them. If you completely switch up on me, what did you expect would eventually happen?
Gosh, I just went on a rant. Let me keep the story going. Okay, so things like this kept happening, and we kind of became distant because I'm like, yo, I can't keep pouring into this relationship, and this man is not even meeting me halfway. And the problem too is that I think I was too supportive to him being in med school. Like, we would only speak once a day, which I was fine with because I'm busy. I have my own life. I do social media. I'm a nurse. We would only speak once a day. We would see each other hardly, but I just felt like even when he could do the bare minimum, like just text me to check in on me or come see me when you're off for a week, but you want to go to the bars in New York City with your friends, he would not do any of that. Fast forward, and this was really the nail in the coffin for me. I remember one day he was hanging out with his friends, and I have no problem with my man being friends with female women because I am not threatened by them. He's in med school. Obviously, there's gonna be girls in his class. I don't care. And I'm bad as hell. So why would I be threatened by any other woman? But there was this one day where I had called him. It was late at night and I was about to go to sleep. I think I had work the next day. I had called him and he was like, oh, he's hanging out with his friends. He's gonna call me when he get home. So I waited, I think, an hour and he still hadn't called me. He told me he was going home in 10 minutes. He still hadn't called me. So I called him back. He picked up this phone. Why I hear these girls laughing in the background? They're literally laughing at me while I'm on the phone with my man. Now, any woman knows that if you call your man and there's girls laughing at you in the background, there has to be a reason why. So I didn't even black on him. I just hung up the phone and I went to sleep because I'm like, yo, I don't got time for this. Y'all know I don't deal with stuff like this. Why this man gonna call me at like 2:48 in the morning? I remember this so vividly. He calls me at 2:48 in the morning when he's finally on his way back home. Then he's like, oh, like they weren't laughing at you. Do I look dumb or stupid? They were laughing at me. So now I'm getting take because one, I have work in the morning. I wake up at 5 a.m. for work. You're calling me at 2:48 in the morning and then you're gonna be lying to my face? Hell no. So I'm blacking on him. Like, why would you be calling me on a work night to just lie to my face? Like, I'm not stupid, right? I'm so upset that my mom literally has to walk in my room and she's like, yo, what's going on? I explained it to her and my mom got upset. And if anybody knows the way my mom loved my man, like she was obsessed with him. So for her to say he's in the wrong, that was a very big deal. Anyway, he ended up sending me an apology paragraph, finally admitting that they were laughing at me and that wasn't right. And I'm like, yo, if those are really your friends, why would they be doing that? Like, they know they just started drama between you and your girl. I have man homeboys. I would never put any of my male friends in a predicament like that. Anyways, that was really the nail in the coffin. Our break continued, and then he ended up going on a spring break trip with his med school friends to Puerto Rico. Once again, I didn't care about this because I am not a threatened girl. I'm not gonna worry about nothing. Everything comes to light eventually. Like, it was like whatever. So he's in Puerto Rico. We're still texting. We're still talking. Like, one thing about me is I don't hold grudges. So things were fine. He comes back from Puerto Rico, right? And the same day he comes back from Puerto Rico, he's like, oh, like, I want to drive to come see you. Mind you, this is very, very new for me because remember, he had a car, he got his first car, and he never drives to come see me. So for him to fly back from Puerto Rico, get from the airport, and want to come see me, I'm like, okay, like maybe, things are like going the right way. I was mistaken. No. So he ended up coming back from Puerto Rico and we broke up that same day. I think I wasn't sad about the breakup because, like I said, there was just so much going on. He was emotionally not a good boyfriend and there was just too much drama. But the breakup we kind of had, he kind of made it seem like, oh, like, things could work better out in the future. Like, med school is just a lot for him and he has a lot going on. So, he wants me to still kind of stick around for him in the future. Because at the end of the day, let's not lie. I'm literally that man's dream girl. I'm like a lot of men's dream girl. But look, I'm not the type of woman to stay around to just wait on somebody. Like, no, that's not me. So we ended things. And he was telling me the whole spiel, like he still wants to be friends XYZ. So we didn't speak for a while. We're kind of acquaintances now. I'm not gonna lie, after we broke up, he was still sending me money and I have receipts. And I know a lot of y'all are gonna act like I was the reason that we broke up and I was not. I can literally show you these text messages where he's basically admitting like he was the problem, and how like I never did anything to him but support him and he's just mentally not in a space to be in a relationship while he's in med school, which is kind of weird to me because it's like you're in med school but you have time to be going to the bars and going to parties and doing all these things and hanging out in the dorms with your female cohort friends or whatever, but you don't have the time to do the bare minimum for your girl. Whatever. The last time we spoke was May 18th, and I didn't respond to him. The first message, he said, you got it, because he had Zelled me money, but I didn't respond to it. And then the last message, he was just asking me if I was good, but I didn't respond to it, because honestly, I owe that man no obligation to respond to his messages. When I do feel like responding, I do. The most annoying thing about this is the school that we went to, like, I was very popular in that school, so a lot of people get back to me and like, oh, wait, are you guys still dating? Because they seen him talking to this girl, or like, I have spies, which I don't want them to spy on him, but I was just really popular in that school, so I get information that I don't want to know about him. I have no beef with him though. We are still friends. His older sister also loves me, so we still stay in contact. She's actually sad that we broke up. I think my mom is sad too, but it is what it is. So yeah, we basically broke up. We are not on bad terms though. It just was not working out and I deserve so much better. It's kind of sad because I never put men on social media and the one time I did, look at what happened. Now y'all won't stop commenting on my videos. But that is the story time of how me and my boyfriend broke up. And I fit it all into one part because I hate when people do multiple part series. Bye babes.
To be honest, I think he wanted to break up with her and she possibly was not reading the situation. She was just thinking, oh, he's just having a hard time with school. He has a lot going on. Now, this is giving. He went to med school, and the women that he saw there, he wants to be free to go and explore his options. And so he's going to make her life a living hell to force her to break up with him. He went on a trip out of country, and then the moment he comes back, he wants to see you. He got the confirmation that he needed on that trip. He probably did things with somebody else on that trip. That's what that's giving to me. It's not giving nobody cheated. It's giving he was cheating the whole time. Sorry. Also, this desire to hold on to their family members, this idea that you were such a good catch that he would not want to let you go. We have to we have to kind of take ourselves off of a pedestal when it comes to uh, overestimating the value that other people place on us. You should absolutely think of yourself as amazing, phenomenal, 10 out of 10, but you should also be self aware enough to realize that the other person might not agree. That other person might absolutely not see you as a catch, might absolutely not see you as a dream girl, might absolutely not want to be with you in the future. And don't let a man play with you, break up with you, and then try to tell you to like stick around for when his life is not as chaotic so that y'all can be together in the future. No. You're not his backup plan. You're not his, if it doesn't work out with who I really want, then fine. I'll just go back to her. Fine. No. You're not that for anybody. And holding on to someone, wanting to be friends, wanting to be acquaintances, um, being friendly with their family is only going to stop you from healing. It's not as cute as you think it is. You're hurting yourself emotionally, especially if this was a relationship that you thought was going to work out. You thought y'all are going to be in it for the long haul. Cut the family off too. Okay, he did you dirty. He hurt you. He was not upfront with how he felt. Leave him alone. It's over. Goodbye.
Story time about why I decided to leave my ex-husband. Keep in mind, before I left him, I was having all of these really like gut-wrenching feelings in our apartment. I had left town for about a week and a half because I had gotten my gallbladder removed and we were fighting and he told me that he couldn't take care of me and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be with family to process everything and decide what I want to do with my life. And I literally couldn't sit up out of bed on my own and he said that he was not going to be there to help me. So I was like, okay, I need to go get some help because come on. So the whole time that I was home with family and had left and everything, he completely ignored me. I could not get a hold of him. No matter how many times I tried to call him, text him, like no response. So I was spiraling because I was like, okay, at this point I hadn't asked for a divorce. I hadn't like officially left. I just had left because I just got my gallbladder removed. And I was spiraling. I was like, I can't even get a hold of my husband. Like, this is not okay. This is not healthy. And I start spiraling because I'm having all these gut feelings that like he's bringing a girl to our apartment, like he's cheating on me, like what is happening? I finally got a hold of him one night and he answered my FaceTime call. It was probably like a 5-minute phone call and he probably said like 2 words the entire time. Like he just stared at me. There was nothing in his eyes. He just was looking right through me, like would not say a word. And I was like, "Can you just talk to me? Can you communicate with me so that we can like figure out what's going on? Like why are you so upset? Why like what is happening?" He was really upset that I went home to be with family because he's like, "Well, I should be taking care of you." And I said, "Well, I don't understand because you just told me you couldn't take care of me. So I decided to go home." I was like, "Dude, like what do you want from me here?" When I finally realized that he was not going to talk to me, was not going to communicate with me, I just said, "Okay, I love you." And he just stared at me. Guys, I kid you not, he just stared at me. I'm not even exaggerating. And so I said it again. I was like, "I love you." And he just stared at me. And I was like, why can't you say I love you? And he ended up just hanging up the phone. He never said I love you. So I texted him and I was like, why can't you say I love you to me anymore? Like why is that so hard for you? And he said, I'm trying to love you, but it's just so hard. When I tell you my heart shattered into a million pieces, no woman wants to hear that, especially from their husband. And so at that point, I just basically cried myself to sleep because I'm like, okay, can't get my husband to talk to me whatsoever. So we can't work through this. We can't communicate. He just said that it's hard to love me. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I had just gotten my gallbladder removed. My health was at the worst place possible. I literally, at this point, through all of the abuse within the relationship and stuff, I had just literally lost myself, felt like a literal shell of myself, and I just was so lost. But at this point, I still didn't know if I was gonna get divorced. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I honestly think that he wanted an out, but he didn't know how to do it, which he did tell me that one time before. He said that if we ever get divorced, you're gonna have to be the one who leaves me because I don't have the guts to do it myself. Excuse me, sir? Who the hell says that? What? And when he said that, it's not even like we were talking about divorce. He just randomly was like, "Yeah, if we ever get divorced, you're gonna have to be the one who leaves me because I'm not gonna have the guts to do it to myself." Sir. So I truly believe at this point he was just trying to make my life so incredibly miserable so that I would leave. There was one night that I literally felt like I was just like praying to God and just kind of like wrestling with God, like, tell me what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. And I remember just feeling a ton of peace. Um, but just feeling like I needed to stay home with family a little bit longer. And I knew that if I told him that, he was going to be super upset because he was already pissed that I was even home with family. Like, he was so upset about it, which I think was the main reason why he decided to give me the silent treatment and not talk to me. But, like, come on, grow up. I told him the next day that I was staying longer. No response. Like, he was upset at this point. I was just like, whatever. Then the next day I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go home because I just felt like I need to go work on our relationship. Like, I need to figure this out, figure out what I'm gonna do. So I go back to where we were living. Keep in mind, the whole time that I was home with family, I hadn't had like a panic attack at all. I go back and get in the car with him, and immediately my body starts freaking out. Like, I feel like my throat is closing. I start like full on just panicking, like panic mode. When I got in the car, he was not even happy to see me, which no one knew that he was like this behind closed doors because as soon as we would get around people, he'd put on this face and be his bubbly, happy self. But then as soon as we were behind closed doors and in private, like he would just shut down and just like be so pissed at me and couldn't get a response out of him. And so it's like no one knew this was happening, but it was so manipulative. So at this point, I'm back in his presence. I'm having a full blown panic attack. Like, my body's literally responding. My body was quite literally rejecting him. I remember after that panic attack, I was like, I just had this feeling like that's my answer. I can't do this anymore. And I just remember being like, no human should have to live like this in this much stress and misery and like not even feeling safe around your partner. And I remember walking back into our apartment. Keep in mind, I had been gone, like I said, for like a week and a half at this point. And I go back into our apartment and I just felt sick. Like, I felt like I was gonna vomit in there. I did not want to stay the night there. I felt physically ill. And I just had this gut feeling that someone else had been there when I was gone. And you guys, like, I can't even describe the feeling. I just felt so ill. My mom was there and I told her, I was like, I think I need to get a divorce. I'm just like sobbing. And she was like, because she didn't know anything that was happening behind the scenes. My mom and my ex-husband did not get along, though. They did not like each other. That was very clear. But my mom was in shock and she's like, okay, let's call your dad. So I call my dad sobbing, tell him what's going on. And he basically said, like, we'll support you in whatever you choose to do. But he said, and this will always stick with me, he's like, the Lord does not expect you to be miserable. Which gave me peace too, and just knowing like this is not how marriage should be. This is not from God. If it was, then it would not be abusive, manipulative. It would not be causing me this much stress and chaos in my life. So at that point, that was kind of the boost and the reassurance that I needed from my family. They weren't saying, yes, get a divorce, but they basically just said, we'll support you in whatever you decide to do. I stayed in a hotel that night with my mom because I could not step foot in our apartment. It made me ill. And then the next morning, I packed up my stuff and I left.
Someone in the comments said, I was married to a man who hated me too. I don't understand why they marry us and waste our time slash youth. They could just leave us alone. No one is forcing them to do this. Someone else said the silent treatment is literally a form of abuse, and it absolutely is. Someone else said, I bet he says that the divorce came out of nowhere. Someone else said, he's your husband, and he said he wouldn't take care of you when you're recovering from surgery. The wedding vows meant nothing to him. Glad you got away from that sociopath. Someone else said, the silent treatment is called stonewalling, and it is a classic narcissistic tactic. If my wife, that I love so much, has had surgery and She needs me in this time. I don't know like what kind of stony heart that I would have to tell my wife that I cannot take care of her and she needs to go be with her family instead. And him then being upset that she went to be with her family just kind of suggests that he wanted to see her suffer. He wanted her there to watch her suffer. Imagine being at the mercy of a man who hates you. Imagine being at the mercy of a man who wants to leave you but cannot find the right words or the right time to just leave you. Do they not know that they can just leave?
Why I divorced my husband at the age of 27. One of the main things I had to come to terms with is doing more for anyone in your life will not result in you being a priority. Now, these are just overall truths that I've learned since I was married to my husband, and not so much so getting into the nitty gritty details of why we decided to separate, because I don't want that to ever be attached to my name publicly. And I also just don't want to paint anyone in a bad light, because I also take accountability for a lot of the things that happen in the relationship, and the specifics should be kept private. Whenever you do make someone else a priority in your life thinking that it'll result in you getting more, you literally do the exact opposite. And instead of you getting more out of that relationship, you actually get less, because the more that they realize that you're able to reward their bare minimum actions, the more they're going to continue to be bare minimum. If I'm able to get the best out of doing the least, I'm going to continue to do the least. And that's something that I had to learn for sure. Now, this next one I've learned is going to shoot you in the foot every single time until you listen. And that is ignoring the red flags. Baby, let me tell y'all, God gave you an intuition for a reason. And if you decide to ignore that intuition, you're gonna pay for it every single time. It's basically like that analogy when the guy was in the ocean and he was like, God, please come save me. And he sent him 3 different boats and he passed up on each of the boats every single time. And then he was like, God, why didn't you save me? And God was like, I sent you 3 boats. That's the exact same thing. He's letting you know these are the red flags. And if you decide to ignore them, you're just going to have to deal with those consequences. And when I tell you I ignored every single boat, baby, you would have thought I was a fish. When you think you can ignore it and it's going to get better, I promise you it will only get worse. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is being valued. A man who values and respects you will never pass up on an opportunity to celebrate you or to make you feel special or to make you feel like you are appreciated. And no matter how much you may beg him to do something, he's not going to do it, baby, if he does not want to. Because as the saying goes, if he wanted to, he would. And that is just the harsh reality that I had to realize in life. Is if he wanted to, he would have done that already. And don't allow people to tell you that that saying you have to explain it and overly communicate it to a man, because sometimes men are slow. Men are not slow. Men are created to lead us. So how can they be slow and we be smarter than them? And I'm not trying to say that in every situation that you don't have to explain something to your partner to get him to understand, but I'm just saying if it's repeated things that he's not doing, sis, he does not want to do those things. Trust the actions and not the words. And one of the main things that I give congratulations to is my growth. I literally refer to myself as the rose that grew from the concrete. I truly realized what I deserved out of a relationship, and you have to make sure that the person you decide to bring children into the world with is a person that you like, a person that you would want your kids to mirror. And even if you don't want kids, I feel like putting yourself or using that example as a scenario, like if I were to have a child, would I be okay if my child grew up to be exactly like this person that I'm with right now? Ask yourself that question, and that will literally tell you all that I feel like you need to know. All in all, I grew from my past relationship, and I only want to make the best decisions for myself in the future. And that's really why I am talking about this on this platform, just to be a girl's girl, to make sure you don't make the same decisions without the right advice that I did.
Giving more of yourself to a man who does not appreciate you is not going to make him appreciate you more. If you get married to someone without resolving or working out or talking about the red flags that you have seen, just know that in their mind, you have accepted them with that red flag. You have accepted them with that issue. Don't ignore an issue or a red flag, hoping that the person will eventually change. Chances are they won't.
So y'all asked me how did I deal with the emotional unavailable man for 8 years, and this is how it went. I guess I didn't realize how much that marriage was breaking me until I finally walked away, until I finally got the courage to separate. One of the biggest things were my feelings were never received. I would literally pour out my heart, and instead of being met with understanding, instead of sympathy, instead of empathy, instead of comfort, I was looked at like I was crazy, like I was dramatic, like I was delusional or doing too much. And after a while, I stopped expressing myself, not because the marriage got better, but because I realized I wasn't safe being vulnerable. I wasn't safe sharing my feelings. I wasn't safe pouring out my broken heart to the very person who broke it. Someone who is emotionally unavailable does not care when you express your pain. You gotta understand that. They do not care. They do not process it as a connection. They process it as a attack. Every single time I told my husband how what he said or what he did hurt me, instead of apologizing, instead of trying to understand me, he will get defensive. He will feel offended. He will act like I was attacking him just for telling him how his behavior affected me. Anytime he hurt me, there was no genuine apology, no accountability. It was, why you always going through my phone? I wouldn't have did that if you would have shown me some more love, if you had shown me some more attention. Somehow, some way, his betrayal always became my responsibility. And I used to sit there, y'all, questioning myself. Like, am I tripping? Am I the problem? Should I not be expecting more? Should I not have gone through his phone? Even though it was going off in the middle of the night. I started to literally question my own reality. And through all the pain he caused me, he never addressed it. He avoided it. He will give me the silent treatment. He would emotionally abandon me while still living in the same house. He became so distant that it felt like I was living with a roommate, all just to escape accountability. And y'all, that silent treatment that they give you is not needing space like they call it. It is emotional punishment. It's punishing you because how dare you speak up? How dare you talk about their action? How dare you ask for accountability? And looking back, the crazy part is I carried the emotional weight for both of us. I initiated the conversations because I was exhausted from the silence. I am a communicator. I'm big on communicating. So I was always trying to fix something that I never broke. I was explaining myself over and over and over and over again, hoping one day he will finally understand. But he never did. He stayed defensive. He stayed angry. He stayed pointing fingers back at me. You cannot love someone into emotional maturity. After so long, I learned how to choose my words carefully, how to stay silent, how to be still, how to suppress my needs so I wouldn't start an argument, so he wouldn't feel attacked. And that's when I knew I had to get up out of there because this man was trying to silence me. This man was slowly breaking me mentally. So if you're watching this and you feel seen, I need you to hear me. You're not broken. You're not needy. You're not dramatic. You're not overreacting. You're not doing too much. You are emotionally aware and you've been loving someone who isn't. And choosing yourself doesn't make you selfish. It means that you are healing. You cannot heal in the same place with the same person who is continually breaking and manipulating you. And please understand me, they are not going to leave you because why would they? You've been allowing them to do whatever they want for however long. So you have to get the courage to leave because if you don't, you will stay with someone who silently kills you and show no remorse at all. You got to get the courage to leave. I know it's hard. It's not easy. I had to pray. I had to fast. I had to surrender everything to God. He had to break the strongholds. He had to break the attachments. He had to break the soul ties because God has a life that's better, a life with peace, a life with joy, a life with happiness. And I'm living it because I walked away from someone that was killing me slowly, that did not care at all how his behavior affected me. So you got to get gone because being with an emotional, unavailable man, it ain't good, y'all. You cannot stay with him no matter how much you love him, no matter how much potential you see in him. Baby, he don't even see that potential for himself. So he ain't gonna change. He ain't gonna get better because he don't want to do the inner work. He want everything to be easy. He wants you to accept who he is. Instead of him changing, he want to change you. If I am everything that he say I am, why is he still here? Why he still settling for somebody that ain't on his level, that he feel ain't worthy enough, that's not valuable enough? Why he still here? Baby, because he's trying to drain you. You everything and more. Actually too much for him. So that's why he's going to feed you with all of these lies. Get your self-esteem so low, your confidence so low until you feel like you have no other option but him. That he's the only one that wants you. Trust and believe. I didn't heard it all before. So that is how I dealt with being with an emotional, unavailable man for 8 years. So y'all.
It's a misconception that just because you get married, just because he got married to you, means that he's emotionally available and he's emotionally mature. Okay, you would think that once they decide to take that step to get married, that they would realize that joining their lives with someone will mean that your approach to problem solving, your approach to regulating your emotions might have to change. Because if you want to regulate your emotions by silent treatment for a week, and I want to regulate my emotions by talking to you, it's not gonna work. One of the things that we need to really pay attention to in choosing a partner is how we emotionally regulate and how we choose to manage conflicts. Playing emotional mind games, especially when someone has clearly communicated to you that they are hurt, or when it is just plain obvious that you said or did something to hurt them, is unacceptable. If it is that you truly want this person in your life, you want genuine companionship, you're in it for the long haul, that's just not something that you do. Always having to fix the problems, always having to come up with the solutions, always having to decide on what the compromise is, and you always having to be the one where the compromise negatively affects you. After a while, it gets old. After a while, you're going to be exhausted. After a while, you're going to build up so much resentment that you no longer want to be with this person. Like, you can, like, when we think about different relationships, like, let's say somebody has been together for 15 years and then they decide to break up, and you sit there and you ask yourself, now what could possibly happen to cause you two to want to break up after 15 years? Like, whatever it is, just work it out. And it's usually not one thing, it's usually a bunch of little things that got swept under the rug. And trust me, everything that you sweep under the rug is going to come back up. There's nothing that you're going to sweep under the rug that's going to stay under there. If you're not able to manage conflicts head on, you are eventually going to be faced with them at a later time, and everything might blow up in your face. Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if any of these stories sound familiar to you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll definitely be seeing you in the next video.